Hey dudes, part 2 of the destroying of this build. Probably not, actually. You know. No, actually should go. Alright, I know, don't cry. Yeah, today a little bit more of a, not emotional, but the emotional state I was in with that PC. If you watched my last part of the fate of that machine, is that I was, let's have a cigarette. Could be not bad to have one at that time. Don't bother with this crap because it is, yeah, well, it is what it is, yeah. The weather is quite nice, so it's pretty good. What I'm talking about today is more of you know, where do I go about this? I'm doing it totally randomly. Now I was originally going with a 285K. That has a bit changed. It's a normal 285. It's probably not a K. And I was about how could that be that I have to change that machine so recently. If you look here, a lot of people might have not, so yeah, 12.7K. So and I was thinking about how could I do this. What do I do with the second machine, or what do I do with that main machine? That would be giving it to my dad with the full 120, not at the full, because I take 128 out and keep 128 in it for my dad. You can call me crazy, you can call me out, but do I want to throw RAM and I don't want to do dual channel only, because that's as terrible as single channel on mainstream would have been, because this is quad channel. So maybe go about there. But then I had another issue about thinking like I wanted to get a 14900K, but that went to waste. Probably not. I'm getting cheaper DDR4, might as well get the best that's out there currently. I was flip-flopping around AMD and stuff, but 16 cores is a no-no. If they're 24, I get that. If they're 30, I get that. If AMD next month offers me a 30 core or whatever, 32 core Ryzen, I will get that instead of the Intel. I'm not fanboying over other, even though DaVinci Resolve, Adobe and shit work just better on Intel. This is no way of you guys blaming me in the comments that it does not. Because if you do, you will get destroyed. I will not let that, that would be terrible. Not for me, but, don't tell me what I need and don't need. I hate this. I don't do that to other people that much anyway. Only if they don't know. And if they're picky about it, they should build their own system. I will not help them. Sorry for my voice today. It's a little bit of with my throat. It's a little bit fucked up. I'm feeling a little sick at least. Might have gotten something from hanging out, I don't know. But anyway, how did I feel about this machine? Well, I was thinking about it, talking about it, like messing my mind up with that machine. And I actually was kind of half emotional. I almost cried. It's like so good. Elko actually worked his ass off for that machine, because I didn't pay for any of it except for the 2 GPUs in it. But before that, 1 GPU. One of the SSDs. No, two SSDs, and that's basically the case. But I got the CPU cooler, which was a gift from him, which he did not buy for me. He had it on his strapped to Windows on his 7950, and yeah, he felt well. Let's say that he wasn't all that happy. Once he found out I wanted to give it away, he actually will not be. Bobby, if you see this, that's not going to happen. I think, I mean, you're trying to be good, but you seem to be an ass. Like acting like an ass, just wanting something for the benefit of you instead of the other ones around you as well. You seem to be completely out of touch in what's going on and how much is this worth to me, especially when you could blame it on me that I wasn't really thinking it over, that you shouldn't give gifts. You shouldn't give away something that you got from a friend to a friend of yours, another one. That's not what you should do, and I'm thinking about that as well. That's actually wrong. No matter, then if not, I put it in a box and never use it in my life, or put it on a wall. I would not get rid of it. And yes, I'm actually not getting rid of it. Mostly, I'm giving it to my dad because that's family related, and you can suck my balls, bro. No matter what you do, family is still me too. But Elko doesn't have a problem with giving it away to my dad, which dad is basically my king. So, well, mother's out of question, always the king. But he's getting the 1080 Ti as well, which is a Rockstreaks OC model. Because the shit he plays, he doesn't even need the 10940, but that's what I have. The 12700K, I don't know, I keep it for a while, but I changed the board out and probably give that away to a friend, because selling it's Valorant banned, so yeah. But I was actually talking about it, and if somebody's working his ass off for you, that doesn't even know him that well, it took half a year for him to do that. And I actually didn't even believe he would upgrade me, but yeah. Lasted me 1.5 years. Sucks. Well, sadly, I've gone to enjoy that chip, which makes 1,000 points in AVX2 in CPU-Z, and that's noticeable. That's one benchmark that I only really do, and that's telling me everything. Even though you still gotta use the machine, of course. But yeah, this is sort of nerve-wracking for me, but so that's why I'm not getting rid of it entirely, but I will upgrade it. Like, I'm not selling the parts that's in it or giving it away to anyone except for my dad. He kind of deserved it. I mean, he would probably notice the difference between those two, but he would be perfectly fine with 14 cores regardless. What he plays is probably 2011, 12, 13, 14 games, which the 1080 Ti will be running at 1,000 trillions of FPS. It will feel like a 4090 for him. I mean, for non-gaming people, that's mid-60s. My dad is actually 67 years old. Yeah, this is gonna feel like the most overkill there could be, but why not? I'm not gonna use this. Not tragic case, but for a hardware like this, it's a bit meh. So I will give him that, get him a power supply, underclock the CPU, turn on C states again, maybe have the 125 megahertz peak clock, but probably not, because it's ridiculously. Probably not, because I want this machine to be absolute fucking stable, which it now is, but yeah, we don't overclock here. When I give away PCs to other people, I don't overclocking. And sometimes even slightly underclock them, slightly, but enough to not notice, but enough to notice for the hardware. Heat, power draw, longevity actually for the VRMs and the rest of the board that traces the VCCI in voltage and shit. That all gets relaxed a bit if you run a tad bit slower. So, which I do because it's 5 years old and has some usage on it, even before me, because this is a used motherboard. It is. And man, this phone has seen better video days. This is a 14 Pro Max, by the way, people. Would you notice? It could have been a Galaxy S21 for all you care. Yeah, well, should have used my 23 Ultra, which is actually, to me, if you ask me, the better video camera. But anyway, yeah, I'm upgrading this to 128, as you guys know, because, well, I said so. No, but having 1000 sheet open, going back to Cities Skylines 1 actually, which uses a lot of RAM. I was surprised that the new one uses like barely anything, but it uses not much. But that game kind of sucks. It's, maybe you watch some reviews to get a better idea, but I'm constantly like double clicking, double menu checking. You need more time for the same things you want to do. Then there's stuff I can't do, but that one could. There's no assets for buses, models. It's always the same. You can't control them. Yeah, it's a chore to putting the lines around the bus lines where it actually drives. It's a little bit clunky to control. It's all worse. It's just the graphics are better, yeah, tremendously. It's not even close, but yeah, take the hit with the graphics and maybe mod it some more to get kind of up there. At least half of the graphics fidelity that the new one offers probably is pretty much possible, if not exceeding it. But then you need a Threadripper. But for a 2015 game, yeah, sure. If you give 150 asset mods, yeah, your PC is gonna burn as a whole, not just the CPU or GPU. I'm staying with the 4080, of course, but I'm not staying with the 10940 or whatever. I don't feel great about it. It's actually, it sucks. So I will make another secret right now. Gosh, I'm smoky. And get the fucking energy drinky. Alrighty. Seeky. Yeah, today's a little bit more chilly. More talking. Not talking head, but talking screen and cigarette. But not advocating for smoking. But hell, little do they do. Oh yeah. Sadly, that tobacco is the last one of its kind. They don't sell these anymore, sadly. Yeah, I'm super in that currently, but shouldn't make this video now. But then when I do it, say I will do it, and it never happens. So I kind of force myself now. It's going to be a system for that's going to be nice. For me, it's gonna just get rid of heating issues constantly, because it has the far overclock that is actually on its limits, and still doesn't touch this shit, and all of it. I'm very much aware that a lot of people would be first world problems. Probably first world problems. For sure, I would agree with that, but there are problems nonetheless. Even if they're first world, I don't care. But I like how it is with my PC usage and how heavy of a user I am, because I get to know all the new shinies. Who doesn't want that? It's expensive. Yep. So, no shit, Sherlock. A Ferrari is expensive too. But at the end of the day, it's you're spending so much time on your PC. At least I do, and people who are into this and are gamers, they spend a lot of time on your PC. So wouldn't you not care for it? wouldn't you have awesome gear like a nice premium SSD, a premium board, a lot of fucking RAM, premium or not premium, doesn't really matter, except for AMD. You need 6,000 there, unfortunately, which also makes me go to Intel because I'm not paying 30-40% for more for the same RAM amount just because it's 400 megahertz higher, which probably is like 7% or whatever, 6% difference. That's margin of error. You don't know the 6%. So if you do, you're already an alien. And hey, then that would be the first one that I ever knew. And it would be the first guy. No, who cares? I'm getting off track like I always do. So I'm hyped. Still have some issues with the bank. Not the bank, but the welfare system crap. They have to pay me out the months that they didn't do because I forgot to. Well, what did I forgot? To renew that all the papers and all that shit. But that's good for me. That makes me more comfortable to upgrade because I would not save money. I'm bad at that. If it's not absolutely necessary and there's no other way, for sure, then you would be dumb not to. But you would also be dumb having money and not spending it. Yes, I could wait for the new stuff to come out, but realistically, it's a new processor. Absolutely smack the heck out of either Core Ultra 9 285K and then 9950X/3D. Who cares? Pick your favorite. It doesn't matter. Even if the benchmarks don't look that good, it's still gonna be way better than whatever you guys have in general. Well, so I don't care what the benchmark says. And if you have that same belief that don't look at benchmarks and you just get what's the best, you have a fucking blast of a time. If you don't care if you wasted money, if you have it, you should waste it. Otherwise, it's a foolish use of money there too. And if somebody has $100,000, let's say, wouldn't they want to change a little bit of part of their life, even though they don't necessarily need to? But it's always the problem with need in terms of PCs. There's always people like, hey, you don't need more than X or X and YZ. Yes, sure. But then you can tail it down to, do you want to give up your SSD? You don't need it. Technically, you don't need it. You can perfectly install Windows 11 on a hard drive. Or Windows 10 on a hard drive on a 12th gen Intel. That would be a cascading lake of problems for you. You will not have fun. Even though technically it works. So you don't need anything more. An i5 4670K, 4690K plays a lot of fucking games today. The majority of them. Hands up if you like to do that with 8 gigs of RAM and Windows 7. Most games play just fine. Till they don't at like 2016-17. Even though that chip was probably 2.5 years old only. Really ridiculous, right? And people don't get that I only mean it good for them. If I tell you the Ryzen 9 64 gigs at least to have a top tier premium gaming experience and also multitasking, because otherwise I'm of the opinion that if you just solely game on a PC, you don't deserve one. You as a gamer, you're the least approachable to help with PCs. I worked in IT. I worked also in D-Tech or Die-Tech for a while, and I had to do PCs constantly there. What I've seen there is beyond funny, sad, makes me mad. I'm like, people actually buy this. This was at 4790K days, 6700K days. That's when I did all this shit. But I'm also like, why do people get a 6700K when there's a 6800K? Why? Who's your clock? Fuck it. Think long term. And not just what's out now, but do you want to have a PC for 1 year? that will suck the next year. I'm not talking about future-proof shit, like a lot of people do are 10 years future-proof. Well, that was. And now is a fool's errand, but you know that, and blah blah blah. But it is, you either keep a PC for 4 or 5 years for the premium you wanna be at, but then it's gonna be a 25, 3, 4,000 bucks PC. Oh, I can't afford it. Then you should be, shut your mouth then. Because you're the last guy that should tell anyone anything. Because you don't have the experience with the flagships. You should have it with all to then tell anyone what they need and don't need. Especially when you come up with the word need. Do I need 256 gigs of RAM? I really never needed it. Am I happy and glad that I had it? Yep. Because there were videos, circumstances that I rendered that took up about 200 gigs. Imagine I had less than that. I only had like 32, like every time people recommended me, or let's say 64 gigs. Because I'm a content creator. We can all probably agree 64 is where it's at, or more if it's getting crazy. But crazy doesn't mean bad. If you can afford it, you will feel good about it. There's a Jacques Clement watch, or whatever, Pitaka, does tell you exactly the same time as a Rolex, but you know why people buy them? Not just because it's because it's unnecessary, but it's fun. You might now never get a Rolex. I don't either. I will never will. It's far too expensive. I'd rather get a CPU for that. It's probably gonna be a Ryzen 7000, a Threadripper, or 9000. Heck yeah, of course. But people do that. And let me do that as well. If you're going for a budget, yeah, sure. But don't think you're gonna try to beat a system with because you get like a Ryzen 5 and 16 gigs, that you beat anyone with a 4080 that has a Ryzen or i9 with 64 or more gigs, just because you think like you're playing at 4K. That's not going to happen, guys. That time is over when that happens. That sucks. I get it. I just tell you how it is. We can scream all we want. The industry wouldn't change because of that. The industry is changing as shit. You can see it. The Nvidia still doesn't listen. Gamers Nexus and all that. All the reviewers that we watch, repeatable people that could be trusted on. At least you shouldn't fully trust anyone in your life, pretty much, except your family. And then, what now? They have the brand reputability and all that, and you need that sort of appearance on YouTube, like to get to mainstream. Like if Gamers Nexus makes an investigation, it actually has some impact. Yeah, not with Nvidia. One of the most important crap that we need to get done is the kerfuffle within Nvidia. They don't want to listen. This is just a sell. Okay, we all know why they do it, because they care about the AI shit, and that's where the money is at. But the money is not at the cards, but that's what we want them to be. We could scream as loud as we want. They won't change a damn thing about it. They're actually trying to, but they won't. I mean, they can, but they won't. This is like it's a free-for-all at Nvidia currently. And they have infinite respawns even after the match. So what you're gonna do about it? Get an AMD, but then, well, when I get an AMD, my 4080 is gonna be old. Like probably 5, 6, 7 years old before I actually... Because I'm trying to not get an Nvidia card anymore, because DaVinci Resolve is also working on it, even on Linux, to get that shit working, to not be reliant on Nvidia anymore. And also, video editing and Intel goes together really well, sadly. Otherwise I would change to AMD. I don't really care that much. Even though if I had to pay more if there's some more major problem with Intel, then I would have gone with AMD as well and lose 8 cores. It's like you gotta do what's up there. You cannot buy anything that's not out. So even though we want to have everything, there's some instances where I was daydreaming kind of. It's like, oh, let's get this and that. It's like when you the last few brain cells that you have, like, that resembles you a kid. The last few kid brain cells that you have, let's call it that. And do some part picker listings with crazy things. Hey, that's could be possible, and just not showing anyone, but you make some PC part picker listings, and then trying to imagine how that could get together, or when you get this and that money, what could you do with your systems to play around with. It's amazing, and I probably will never give that up, especially when I can help out people, but not assholes, especially when they never really text you, like Bobby, except for when they really need something. And yeah, people like that get fucked all the time. It's a character flaw of mine, but that will go away, maybe never, but I have to force myself to say no, because I'm not changing anymore. I'm too old. My prefrontal cortex is long developed now, so there wouldn't be anything where the knob is popping off. Like in German, you would say, "Das einem der Knopf aufgeht." But it's probably now time to, that's night, morning time. Yeah, fucked up schedule, but that's it for now. Showing the 12700K, and that's not even new shit, but man, they really changed the core architecture by like a fucking heck ton. Like, as you guys know, Alder Lake was really a difference, and then 13th gen was again a difference. 14 was a refresh, but maybe I get the 14900K. That it depends. I'm not getting the 13900, even though they're the same CPUs, except for the 13900 doesn't support more than 128 gigs of RAM, and that shit. Say no to that, to only 128 gigs. But the 14900 does, and has more chipset lanes, as far as I know. But the CPU power and stuff is exactly the same. But sadly, a 13900K would even cost more if it's available a lot than a 14900K. Why? No, heck no, that would be dumb. So that's it from me. That's a little part 2 of the X299 and the little story behind it. It's more or less not really about that machine now. It's more about anything else that surrounds that machine. Okay, peace out till then.